on track for the third time today and in some very tricky conditions for Formula V's. Hope these guys have all got clear visors because there's hardly any light available out there at the moment. Peter Hills leads the championship coming to this round. A massive thanks to Theo for sending an update on the points there. Ahead of Lendl Janssen, Gert van der Berg, Greg Wilson and Lucian Ramchanda. It's then Brandon Hills, Sean van der Linde, Josef Kotze, Theo Vermaak and Carl Watt in the overall championship standings. Association, Josef Kotze, Theo Vermaak and Carl Watt are your top three. And that's how they come into this third and final heat of the day here for the Formula V's. As they come to the line, the championship leader will be on pole position alongside Jaco Schricks. It'll then be Greg Wilson and Brandon Hills on the second row, Lendl Janssen and Sean van der Linde on the third, Theo Vermaak, Josef Kotze ahead of CF de Toy. Gert van der Berg will be starting from the back of the grid. And just apologies there to, of course, van der Berg and to Greg Wilson. They've got similar livery on their cars, so I was calling them teammates earlier on, and apparently not in the same team. Josef Kotze, Theo Vermaak and Gert van der Berg are all in the same team, but it's delivery that caught me out there, so apologies there to van der Berg and to his teammate that I called earlier on, Greg Wilson. But they're in separate teams now and are ready to go for the next 8 laps of action here in Formula V's. As I said, I hope these guys have all got clear visors because, or at least persimmon visors if they could get them. Yellow visors or orange visors that we'd normally see on the motorcycles at this time of the night might be the right option to have at this stage, but a clear visor certainly would be the right one to go with. Tinted visor right now will be very, very treacherous for your ability to spot the turn-in points at corners and braking markers on the exit side of the track. Under starter's orders, 5-second board, and our lollipop man moves out of the way. Lights are on, and a little bit of a jump there by the looks of things from Greg Wilson. Wilson might have made a little bit of maneuver before the lights went out. It didn't really help him out there, but it might have hindered him actually, because he's dropped right back there and maybe realized he made the mistake and came off the pedal and then had to climb back on it, and he's dropped right in front of Gert van der Berg, who is starting from the back of the pack. So he's lost a lot of ground there as they head down in towards Rifle again. Championship leader Peter Hills and race 1 and 2 winner is in the lead of this one again, looking to maintain his lead in this championship. Sean van der Linde on the back end of Lendl Janssen. Theo Vermaak is right behind that. So Vermaak certainly going a bit better than what he was in the first two, and he gets through Kocabamba this time without a mistake. I chatted to him when he brought me the points and the update on the points, and said to him, listen, you got to just try and get Kocabamba right on that first lap, and you could potentially stay with his front pack, and that's what he's done this time out. Brandon Hills on the back end of Schricks. Schricks has got Lendl Janssen behind him. Come into the complex now. So a lot of guys have gone with a change of visor. That's a great option there from them. Possibly going to first race to get them to help out with some clear visors there, just in case of situations like we've got right now. So the push is on. The push is onto the back end of Peter Hills to try and soak up this pressure for the... Oh, and van der Linde's out of shape. Van der Linde spins out at Beacon Corner and fires that car back up. Looks like he might have just got a false neutral of some nature as he turned in. And it just spun the car around from the back end. Lights down the main straightaway are going to help us out a little bit. Van der Linde has got going again. But there's no lights through Potters, there's no lights through Rifle, and there's certainly no lights down at Kocabamba. And having raced in an endurance race at this circuit at this time of night, I can tell you it is exceptionally tricky to spot the lines. The cameras are doing a lot more than what we've got available to us in terms of light here at the track, and that's why Shrix has got through. Shrix now ahead of Peter Hills, Brandon Hills, Lendl Janssen, Theo Vermaak. Gert van den Berg looks like he might have got through on Theo. Here comes Greg Wilson along for the ride as well, trying to find a way through there on the association man. Theo Vermaak trying to move himself up in the overall championship as well as in the association championship. Lendl Janssen gone with a clear visor as well. And they're trying to close things down there on Brandon Hills in the last part of this third lap of anger. Good run so far from them. It has been great race action as always from the Formula V's. They hardly ever fail to deliver close race action in any form art or any track that they go to. Hills, Shrix and Hills was as across the line. This time it's Shrix, Hills and Hills. And it looks like Peter's got the slipstream. He's going to have a look down towards turn 1 into Potters and goes around the outside of Jaco Shrix. Makes it stick into Potters Pass. Returns to the lead of the race. And ahead now of Jaco Shrix. Shrix now under pressure from Brandon Hills as he tries to get into the slipstream and use it for a late braking maneuver into Kookaburra. Shrix knows he's coming, goes inside almost instantaneously out of the exit of rifle range. And just squeezes into second place and stays there, keeping Brandon Hills at bay for now. Lendl Janssen waiting to pick up the pieces if something goes wrong. Behind that it is Theo Vermaak. And he is just in behind, of course, the two late seasoners here in this second heat, or third heat I should say. Hills, Shrix, Hills, Janssen. And guys are racing to 1 and 3. Shrix in his self-sponsored car and Lendl Janssen in the Bull Security and Silver Lakes Volkswagen Formula V. Janssen pulls out. Has he got enough to have a go here at Brandon onto the brakes? Shrix had a look as well. Behind that, a little bit of sparks coming off the undercarriage of some of those cars, coming off the brakes as well. Look at the sparks coming off the brakes there on Gert van den Berg's car. Literally metal to metal there by the looks of things. Big sparks as he climbs on the anchors up towards Beacon. Will that be a concern? Slipstream effect comes into play again. This time Shrix uses it. He gets back ahead of Peter Hills. Now this is timing. They need to look at the timing here in terms of who's going to be at the front onto that last lap. Because if you're at the front on the last lap, the possibility is that you might get outgunned on the slipstream by the man in second. So could possibly be a scenario that they need to look at and start to take into account in terms of their planning and strategy for the end of this race. All 5 cars at the front end are starting to spark under braking. Let's see if we can get Daryl to give us a close-up of that. Try and spot the cars under braking and see those sparks coming off the brake and off the calipers as they come into gate corner. Oh! That's what I was worried about. Brandon Hills right up onto the back end and does a wheelie and smashes straight into the back of Jaco Shrix. He misjudged that completely. And Brandon Hills very lucky to survive that one. He smashed right into the back of Jaco Shrix. And the car literally went up on 2 wheels, wheeling behind Jaco Shrix. And that was a huge moment. Look at the sparks coming off these cars. Here's the replay. Oh, back sparks in the back of that car. Brandon Hills gets thumped down unceremoniously after going into the back end of that car. Vision and visibility is very poor out there right now, making it very difficult for these guys to spot and see each other on track. And I think Brandon Hills got caught out by that. So it's Peter Hills from Jaco Shrix. Lendl Janssen in third. Brandon Hills with a massive moment coming out of gate corner. Went straight into the back of Jaco Shrix. Launched his car straight up in the air. Wheelied for about 5 meters and then slammed down, only for him to retire the car on the inside of the complex. Inside line into Kookavanna from Shricks this time. Change up for the lead again. He gets ahead of Peter Hills. Hills comes back at him. Looking for the drive for the Mangaza Racing team. Trying to get up there to make it 3 out of 3 today and maintain the lead of this championship overall. It's Yucko Shricks though who leads things out into gate corner. Shricks from Brandon Hills. Peter Hills is the man in second place now. Brandon's nose cone still in the middle of the track. Yo, that's going to be dangerous. The nose cone of that car is still in the middle of the track. And that is a massive concern because the marshals haven't gone across to move it out of the way. Not quite sure if they can get there. That's the problem. As they head up to the top of the hill and up towards Beacon again. That nose cone is right in the middle of the circuit. And everybody very fortunate just to avoid it. Look at the sparks coming off Wilson's car in the background as he climbs on the anchors up towards Beacon again. 3 laps to go. Unbelievable. Look at that. There's the nose cone. It's right in the turning point where they exit gate corner and go into the S's. Well, you can see just how difficult it is now for our cameras to try and pick up the lights. Not much visibility left out there for these guys to pick up on as they head down towards rifle range again. Visibility is very poor out there right now, and the V's are trying as hard as possible to stay in it for the next couple of laps. Late braking from Peter Hills, trying to get on the inside of Shricks. Lendl Janssen doing the same thing to close the gap down again between the top two and himself in third. Here they go, down the beach straight again. Shricksy under the back end of Peter Hills, trying to use a little bit of a slipstream on the beach straight. They're coming into gate corner again. The nose cone is still there. They'll know it's there this time, so they'll try and avoid it. And they just avoid it. Missing that nose cone by only a couple of centimeters as they come out of the S's through the left-hander, now through the big right-hand sweep and up the hill with 2 to go. 2 race laps of action still to come your way, and a possibility still of 6 more laps of Gazoo Racing still to get out on track. Look at the sparks coming off those brakes. It'll be happening in the daytime, which we don't see, and they brought the flag out early. They brought the flag out early. Yucko Shricks is going to come to complete this one with 6 laps done. Shricks wins out. Sure. So it's all about who's going to be where at the end of this one. That didn't quite work out according to plan because Peter Hills actually came through there for the victory. Lendl Janssen behind him and Yucko Shricks in third. Timing monitor said something different there. We've battled with the timing monitor all day long. Sean van der Linde still coming to the line. You can see he's lifted his tinted visor up to complete the race. Is that possibly Brandon Hills coming across the line? No, that's not. That'll be CF Toy, I think, coming to finish up the race. So they brought that one to a little bit of an earlier finish than what was publicised. 6 laps completed. Peter Hills wins out for the 3rd time today over Lendl Janssen, Yucko Shricks, Greg Wilson, Gert van der Berg, Theo Vermaak, Yusuf Kotze, CF Toy, and Sean van der Linde. Brandon Hills with the DNF after lap number 3.